speaking of appealing, Mike Florio, Pro Football Talk Live co-host. See, Mike, that's how you get nominated for a sports Emmy. Segue like that. Not win one, but get nominated.
Well, that's good. And hey, on what you were just saying, Dan, this issue comes up all the time. I just wish they would have one rule that applies to all service academies and stick with it.
Yeah.
Because it seems like every year it's a different twist. They're allowed to. They're not allowed to. I mean, if I'm Army or Air Force, this is a great recruiting poster for me. Hey, come to this service academy. We'll let you potentially play in the NFL, unless, of course, we change our mind 4 years from now, which is possible, so maybe we won't mention that. They just need to have one rule, needs to be the same, needs to be fair to these guys. They need to know going in, am I going to have the chance or not have the chance if my football career works out?
I think every roster should have one extra roster spot for a military graduate.
I can get behind that, I guess. I don't know. I guess.
Well, you're un-American if you're not going to get behind that, Mike.
Okay.
Mike Florio, un-American. Wow.
I just look. There was once a time when the best football players ended up at the service academy.
Yeah.
But the world has changed so much. The sport of pro football has changed so much. The way it works out is the best of the best end up at Alabama, Clemson, or Ohio State, and everybody else is just trying to get whatever scraps they can find. So, I look, it would not be something that contradicts the overt efforts by the NFL to cater to the military. So it wouldn't surprise me if the NFL did.
All right, let's get to the serious stuff here. It feels like there's some Jedi mind games being played by the Packers and Aaron Rodgers, or certainly Aaron Rodgers here. And I want you to paraphrase what you put on Pro Football Talk, because I don't know if Aaron Rodgers is like, I'm not going to be painted as a bad guy, where the Packers are trying to paint him as a bad guy. Okay, what's the end result with all of this, Mike?
It's whatever Aaron Rodgers wants it to be. And I think whatever happens, he's going to act like it's what he wanted. So I think that's one of the reasons why he's not telling anybody what he really wants. But when he talks to guys like James Jones, who he knows will turn around and appear on radio and TV and say what he's allowed to say, what Aaron Rodgers authorizes him to say, and James Jones says the situation is fixable, I think Aaron Rodgers wants Packers fans to say to the Packers, why haven't you fixed it? Aaron says it's fixable. Why haven't you fixed it? And when Mark Murphy, the team CEO, not even in response to a question about Aaron Rodgers, just kind of gratuitously in a written column where he had a chance to write it and read it and be sure it's what he wanted to say, says that this situation is dividing our fan base. That's his way of letting Rodgers know your worst case scenario of becoming a pariah among Packers fans is coming to fruition. So it is high-level PR games being played between these two sides. Rodgers wants the Packers to be to blame. The Packers want Rodgers to be to blame. And if he just doesn't show up for training camp, I'd say most fans of the team, because they always fall in line behind the laundry, most fans of the team are going to say, you're under contract, you should be here.
Yeah, I'm just trying to understand, at what point does Aaron Rodgers say, now, if I'm going to a new team, I better get there soon? And if the Packers realize he doesn't want to be there, then when do you move on, and what do you get, and are you comfortable with Jordan Love being your starter? Like, the clock is ticking here, Mike, for both of these sides, and who's going to blink first?
And, Dan, I've said a couple of times over the past week or two, it's better for the Packers at this point to go ahead and wait until after the season to trade him. Because if you trade him now, you get 2022 picks anyway. Go ahead and wait until you get 10 teams at the table. Now, you would have gotten more for him if you had traded him in March.
Yeah.
But now you got the Broncos and maybe the Raiders showing up for this auction. You get to March, after teams have had a chance to roll the dice one more year with their current quarterbacks and decide, man, this guy sucks, we got to find somebody better. You're going to have teams lining up for a chance to get Aaron Rodgers. So if I'm the Packers, I think he chooses not to play. We get $30 million back or more between the salary we don't pay him, bonus money we can recoup. We don't have to worry about him going somewhere else and making us look like idiots this year. We get a chance to let Jordan Love get ready, and maybe the fans will understand that Aaron put us in a tough spot where we had to throw him into the fire before he was ready. And we trade him for more. next year. And we'll know after a year of Jordan Love whether or not he really is the guy. At some point they need to find out, is he the guy? They used a first-round pick on him. They see something in him that makes them think he can be the guy. So I really do think you attach Mark Murphy to a lie detector test. I think he would prefer that Rodgers not show up this year.
I love the PR machine of now promoting Jordan Love, that you had Dan Orlovsky of ESPN, former NFL quarterback, who basically came out and said, guy can't play, Jordan Love. And then the next day, you had reporters covering the Packers who, of course, are sort of beholden to the Packers, like, hey, Jordan Love, man, did you see some of those passes, those throws he had there? I don't know how good he is. And I don't know when we find out until there's live bullets here, Mike. I don't care what you do in shorts and nobody gets to hit you, and you threw a 35-yard out. I want to know what happens when you have to process all this in real time.
And it's two phases. It's live bullets plus what happens after 4 to 6 weeks of you playing, and defenses can break down film and figure out how to stop you. Can you and your coaches counter that? Sims had a great point yesterday on PFT Live. And he's been involved in situations like
breaking news, Chris Sims had a really good take.
I know, it's worth pointing out because it's so rare. But he's seen this before where the coaching staff wants to build confidence. So, Dan, is it really crazy to think that after Jordan Love looked so bad on Tuesday, Matt LaFleur gets together with Joe Barry, the defensive coordinator, and they script the plays we're going to call, the defenses that are going to be used, so the play pops and it gives Jordan Love a chance when the reporters are watching.
Wow.
To create these tweets. This isn't the reporters lying. This is the Packers deliberately engineering a scenario where Jordan Love has guys wide open, or wide ass open, as Bruce Arians would say, and you get a positive. They owe it to Jordan Love to help this guy out. He didn't ask for this. You think he would have voluntarily signed up for the Packers if he had his druthers in April of 2020? Hell no. So they got to take care of this guy. You don't want to ruin him because he's caught in the crossfire between Rodgers and the front office.
He's Mike Florio, co-host of Pro Football Talk Live. You'll see that on NBC Sports Network and also here on Peacock with Chris Sims. The Buccaneers offseason, I guess, went as well as possible, where they didn't need to add much. They just re-signed people. And then Tom Brady, I guess, is going to be a new quarterback, a different quarterback after this knee surgery. He said he's going to be able to do some things he couldn't have done last year. I don't know if anybody followed up by saying, what exactly is that, Tom, that you'll be able to do? So what do you make of Tom's revelation that he's going to be able to do some different things?
He's going to run a 5.29 instead of a 5.31.
Wow.
Hey, he admitted the other day, and they need to get him to quit talking about this. This is how the Jets got in trouble back in 2009 when Brett Favre went to the Vikings and he kept making excuses for why they fell apart down the stretch, and he started talking about his arm injury. Eventually, the NFL fined everyone from the Jets for hiding it on the injury report. You got Brady saying his knee was injured back in April or May of last year. He had pretty serious surgery, as he described it. He was never listed on any Buccaneers injury report with a knee injury. At some point, with gambling, spreading, and the league's got to be concerned about these things. And I know it's, most fans are like, who cares? Well, gamblers care and the league should care because eventually the Bucs are going to get in trouble. But, Dan, another thing Sims and I were talking about this week, if the Packers are just able to complete that comeback when they're down 28-10, they've got fourth and whatever it was inside the 10. If they would have won that game, think of how different the vibe would have been around the Buccaneers from that point until now. Tom Brady meltdown. Interceptions on 3 straight drives. They blow an 18-point lead. Maybe a lot of those guys who re-signed go elsewhere. It's amazing how much that one moment affected the Packers in a negative way and boosted the Buccaneers to this team where we're saying, who's their competitor in the NFC? Who do they have to worry about? Really? They got a path to the Super Bowl again. And it could have gone so differently if that game in Green Bay had ended a different way.
Well, look at Kansas City. With Patrick Mahomes, we would be questioning if he could win the big game if San Francisco doesn't forget about Tyreek Hill. Or, they don't have a couple of stops or Garoppolo doesn't overthrow. These things it's so small. 2 more first downs, Jimmy Garoppolo is viewed differently. And Patrick Mahomes, we would say, well, he can't win the big one. Matt Ryan, you get another first down, you kick a field goal. He's an automatic Hall of Famer there. Like, it's so small, these margins. All of these, how many Super Bowls did Brady win needing help from somebody else? But Tom is the GOAT because Vinatieri did this or Rodney Harrison did this. You know, it's pretty remarkable. David Tyree doesn't catch that ball. Is Eli Manning a Hall of Famer with one Super Bowl? And you could probably say maybe not, even though he did it in New York.
Hey, if Mario Manningham doesn't catch that ball at the sideline in Super Bowl 46, if Wes Welker catches a pass that really wasn't thrown as accurately as people would say from Brady, the Patriots win that one, and there goes another one for the Giants. It's amazing how much work and effort and sweat and toil and study and time it all goes into to get yourself in a spot where that one thing goes your way.
Yeah.
Months and months and months to get to that one moment per year when it all falls your way. And it just shows you how hard it is in today's NFL. And it's why no one's repeated since 2003, 2004. 8 times in the first 39 Super Bowls, teams went back to back. And it hasn't happened since because they're all packed together. And it comes down to those moments that are there and then they're gone.
Should we celebrate? We have lost the Sports Emmy, Best Studio Host, 4 years in a row. So we are the Buffalo Bills. Now they're viewed as losers. Should we view ourselves as losers?
No. Because you've been nominated.
But we lost.
Well, but you've still been nominated. That's more than PFT Live can say. That's more than I can say. So you're nominated.
We don't measure ourselves with your show. I mean,
I understand. It's like the old West Virginia Penn State rivalry. I get it. I got my West Virginia shirt on today just for that. It was a big deal for us. Wasn't a big deal for Penn State. But anyway, you're nominated. You're there. You're in the conversation.
All right. Thank you, Mike. Have a great weekend. No offense. All right. Thank you, Mike. That's Mike Florio, Pro Football Talk Live, co-host.